Well, welcome to Wisdom and Knowledge. I'm your host, Dr. Terry Warren, and I am so excited that you're here with us today. Today I have a very special guest, someone that I have heard a lot about, spoken to on the phone, but this is the first time we really got to spend time together, Dr. Dylan Foster. Dr. Foster, welcome.
Thank you. It's a blessing to be here. Thank you.
And you know, Dr. Foster has been practicing natural medicine and been in the area of what's called functional medicine, which is different than their traditional medicines. And I learned that he is also a doctor of pastoral medicine. So what I'm going to do, Dr. Dylan, is I am going to have you kind of explain a little bit about yourself, but then tell us what those terms mean, so people understand. You're a chiropractor and you practice chiropractic.
Yeah, my foundation is chiropractic, and I've been practicing for 20 years. I graduated in '97, so it's 20 years exactly. And my foundation was traditional chiropractic, spinal alignment, that most people might be aware of. And in about 2005, I really started hitting hard in dealing with more chronic ailments, getting into more functional medicine. Functional medicine is more of the new direction that doctors and the doctors that you guys should see, based off of addressing the foundation, the causes of your health problems, not so much treating the symptoms anymore. And over the years, since '05, it's been 100% my focus on dealing with these things. So in my practice, I get people from all over the world that come and see me, and they're dealing with a lot of chronic ailments, and that a lot of my patients tell me that I'm their last chance doc, because they've seen tons of other doctors travel the globe to try to get their health back on track, and they just get no resolution. And then I work with them because my approach is, instead of just trying to suppress a symptom, I'm actually trying to get their whole body healthy. And as a doctor of pastoral medicine, I utilize not just the tools that I've learned to use, but I utilize the tools that God's given us to let the body get healthy again. And the body does what it's meant to do. It's designed to heal. That's what God helped us do. The problem is we got so many barriers and obstacles in our way within society that we hear this is safe, this is natural. We get confused, we get lost, and then we can't get healthy. And that's my job, is to help remove those barriers for people.
So your main thing is to bring people back to ultimate health.
Ultimate health, and they can get it again. Genetically, they are capable of getting it. I always tell people, if you're still alive, you can still heal. If you cut, will you not heal? Absolutely, right?
Well, I've heard it said for years, and that the body heals itself.
Yes.
And that your body is made up of trillions of cells, and every day cells die, but they rebuild. And correct me if I'm wrong, and I've had people say yes, say no, but I've been told that every 7 years, and it's amazing because in the Bible, 7 is the year of completion.
Right.
Every 7 years, every cell in your body rebuilds itself. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've heard some as much as a year, 7 years, as I've also heard. I do know ultimately we do have a brand new body every so many years. We have a brand new cellular structure. The problem is that our bodies, we have one of two options of every day we're replacing new cells. And we have one of two options. Are we going to replace cells with healthier, better cells? Or are we going to replace them with unhealthy cells? And one of the things, my focus has been lately on trying to figure out like the easiest way to help people. For years I've been working on changing lifestyle, diet, using a lot of nutrition, detoxing, just enormous amounts of work, a lot of allergy work and stuff. And I've figured out the basic premise behind all health issues is our DNA and our telomeres and inflammation. These are things that when we try to make a new body that God designed us to do, our body is being damaged on a daily basis through all these toxins and food colorings and additives, GMOs, pesticides, pharmaceuticals, and I can go on and on about the things that are damaging our bodies. And what's ended up happening is we're not repairing our cells for the better. We're repairing them in the negative direction. And so what do you think is the #1 chronic ailment in their society now? Well, it's many things, actually. It's Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, arthritis, diabetes, thyroid problems. It's getting worse because more and more people are falling victim to that, if it's on the shelves, it must be safe, or our government wouldn't let it be there. Problem is the government's too busy to keep up with all this stuff. So what I've been trying to do is figure out how can I help patients repair their DNA and telomeres, and I can talk more about that, but bottom line is, how do I get the body healthier? How do I get it healthier as easy as possible without someone pulling their hair out and living off into the mountains and growing their own food and getting their own fresh water, right?
Yes, which is, I guess, an option, but not practical.
Not practical.
So, just real briefly, because we only have a half hour.
Okay.
When you evaluate somebody, how do you evaluate and come to the determination of where they are and what's needed to bring them back to the status that their body needs to be in, a state of ultimate health?
Yeah, I use a lot of tools. I test for allergies. I do a lot of lab work, diagnostic workup. A lot of it is their history. I'll be honest with you. Your history is going to tell you a lot about what you're dealing with, how long you've been dealing with it, and how severe it is. That tells the doctor, like myself, how much work we're going to really need to do, how many changes we're going to need to make. And my job is to kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together. That's what functional medicine doctors do, is to put the pieces together to figure out how are we going to get this person whole again. And that's where, as a natural doctor, a lot of people are kind of leery of natural doctors, which they shouldn't be, because we're the ones that get people healthy. But the questions remain is that, I shouldn't even say it's a question, it's actually a common denominator amongst all doctors on the planet about ill health. Every doctor I know of will agree that inflammation is the main cause of our health issues. Okay. So everybody I see has a lot of inflammation because they're coming into me with chronic ailments, diabetes, thyroid problems, Alzheimer's, cancers, things like that. They're dealing with a lot of health problems, and really the common denominator is just that inflammation. So how do we get that in control? And that's kind of where, today I'm very proud to be talking about a new product that I found that is making quicker and easier changes for my patients than anything I've ever used or done.
Well, now let me ask you this, because, and this is, I've spoke about this before. Matter of fact, I've spoke about it here. 50 years ago, we got the vitamins and the nutrients we needed through our food.
Right.
The soil was not messed up. There was a thing called mycorrhizae at the end of root of every plant, and the mycorrhizae absorb the nutrients and vitamins into the tomatoes and the other things. And so our body rebuilt itself through the vitamins and the nutrients that we received. Those things do not exist today because the food is not what it was back 40 years ago, 50 years ago. And I imagine there's some other elements that have to do with this, but the incredible increase, like 50 years ago, I think it was 1 out of 1,000 people over 50 had cancer. Today, 1 out of every 3 people over 50 have cancer.
Yep.
The number of children that with autism, the rate has increased so drastically that it's out of proportion.
Yep.
Juvenile diabetes basically didn't even exist. When I was a kid, I didn't know any kids that had diabetes.
Before 1980, it was at 0.
It's 0.
0. Now, back 2010 was the latest stat. I believe it's 54,000 a year. Went from 0 to 54,000 from 1980.
So there has to be something that's causing that. And I guess you can't put your finger on one single thing. It's a combination of things, correct?
Correct, yeah. I'd be very rich if we can put our finger on one thing. The problem is that it's lifestyle, it's choices. You talked about nutrition in the soil. What they say, 50 years ago, to get the same nutrients for a cup of salad from 50 years ago, today you got to eat a whole bathtub size. Everybody's talking about, we're trying to hear all this marketing about propaganda against organic produce. The problem is NPK is the fertilizer used, 3 minerals on mass-produced vegetables and fruits. It's 3 main minerals in that soil. But traditional soil should be containing between 50 to 80 minerals, and it's just not getting into the plants when it's only got 3. So we are what we eat. If we're eating something that's nutritionally depleted, what do you think is going to happen to us? we're going to get sick. We're going to have health issues. And so when we see these things like diabetes in children that have been non-existent, cancer's going up, diabetes is going up, thyroid problems going up, Alzheimer's going up. Just saw the first 2-year-old child in the news that developed Alzheimer's. Unheard of. This is the first time in history that that's happened. First time in history that parents are outliving their children as in a society. Our health is getting bad, and it's lifestyle, it's the exposures and toxins we're exposed to, and again, there's so many factors. So again, coming back to what I was talking about earlier, I'm trying to find, or I've found, a way to basically help people get healthier quicker and easier than anything I've ever seen. Not that it's a cure-all by any means. You can't go eat McDonald's and drink a 6-pack of beer every night and think you're going to get healthy and take this supplement. You know, that doesn't work that way. But ultimately, we do need help. No matter who you are, where you're at, you need nutrition, you need help. And we were talking about supplements. I want to talk about, I didn't tell you, but there was that study up in New York, and they tested, I can't remember if it was 10 supplements or 100 supplements. A little while I read it. But they were checking the nutritional content of certain supplements, and they found 90% of them had zero nutrition of what the labels claimed. Zero. None of them.
Wow.
And so what we're finding is that because there's no regulations, companies are putting stuff on the market, and people, you guys, you're going buying products thinking you're making the right choices, getting the right products for better health, right? Problem is you're taking something more than likely, depending on where you're getting it, of course, but it may not be making any changes in your health. It's actually potentially making you worse, and you're giving them lots of money and wondering why you keep getting sicker. And we like to blame genetics and aging, right?
Yeah.
That's our biggest scapegoat, genetics and aging. Problem is that's a scapegoat. That's not an actual true answer, because we can control our genes. You know, like my wife likes to say, is genes are like a bullet in a gun. You know, if you got a gun, you got bullets in it, you can choose to pull that trigger or not. And that's your genes, that's your lifestyle. If you don't pull that trigger, you're going to stay healthy. Problem is, a lot of people are pulling that trigger in regards to their lifestyle choices.
So for 20 years, you've been doing research on
research.
products, looking at the ingredients of the product, looking at what's going into that. And I would imagine, and I believe this to be true, is because we lack the vitamins and the nutrients, that's the purpose for the supplements.
Right.
To basically put into our bodies what we're not getting put into our bodies from a natural perspective.
Correct.
So how important is supplements to today, in today's world? And tell us what, in your research, what you found that's out there that really can help and can make a difference.
Well, it is critical that everybody watching this, everybody on the planet, needs to be supplementing these days. And like I said, unless you're growing your own food and your own land and your own farms and all that, our soils are depleted. There's too many chemicals being used. So we've got to supplement. The problem is the quality of the supplements vary so much that you don't know if you're getting something good. And it gets confusing. There's stuff all over the internet. There's stores everywhere. So, you know, first thing I'm going to say is if you do supplement, you need to go with a functional medicine doctor like myself that's using very well tested for purity and potency, quality of types of nutraceuticals, high quality supplements. You're not going to get them in your traditional stores. I won't name the stores and stuff. But bottom line is, I've been looking for ways to heal the body, and I've been doing a lot of research, and I came across a product. I tested it for about 6 months before I got involved with it more thoroughly and willing to promote it outside my practice, but it's something I recommend all my patients to take now. And what this product does is, it's amazing, but it basically, when I talked about your DNA and your genetics, this product has over 150 scientifically proven studies on it, 900 peer-reviewed studies, and what they're finding is it increases your telomeres. It helps repair your DNA. And for those of you that don't know what telomeres are, the easiest thing to say is it's your time clock. Okay, your body has a built-in time clock, and you can wear it down quickly if you make bad choices. Again, that's toxins, heavy metals, pollutants, food colorings, additives, things like that, and go on and on. So that time clock gets shortened. Okay, and then one thing is, I was talking about our DNA, our genetics. So say we have the genetic predisposition to develop diabetes at age 70, okay? So we got a couple of choices with that. I talked about the bullet and the gun. Now, if we eat fast foods, we eat food colorings and sugars and processed refined foods, lots of grains, we're going to kick in that DNA quicker, and we're going to develop the diabetes sooner than that age 50. Flip side of the coin, we eat cleaner, we exercise, we drink plenty of water, we stay away from bad toxic foods and things like that. Now, instead of it kicking at 50, it might not even kick in until 150. Okay. But you're already gone, you know, your time clock is completely punched out. So your genetic DNA didn't get a chance to kick in because of lifestyle choices. So what I've found is a product that can actually help increase or raise that time clock. It can increase the telomere length, and that in turn helps repair your DNA. But here's the kicker, I talked about inflammation. Inflammation is, like I said, the most commonly accepted problem in our society for health issues. And any health issue you can say or talk about, blame it on inflammation. Honestly, that's pretty much the foundational problem. And you know, the doctors of the old days used to say, take an aspirin a day, right? Problem with an aspirin a day is it has been found to increase the risk of strokes and stomach cancers. And they're finding that the pros don't outweigh the cons anymore, so they're saying don't do that anymore. So don't take an aspirin a day for preventative measures anyways. Other benefits maybe, but not for that. So inflammation, we need to cut that down naturally. We need to reduce it naturally. And this product, it's called Phytozon. And what it does is it actually blocks the whole process, not the whole process, but it blocks the whole steps of inflammation within the body from being able to take place. So it doesn't just help reduce inflammation in the body, but it helps block it. So what do you think is going to happen if somebody has less inflammation in their body? See how common sense this is.
They're going to be in better health.
They're going to be in better health. Their joints feel better, their arthritis is letting up, their knees feel better. They can even think clearer, and they can be more active mentally, physically, sexually. Everything just works better as that inflammation comes down. So again, I don't want to say it's the cure-all. There is no cure-all. If anybody's looking for it, it doesn't exist. There's many factors involved, and everybody's a little different in how they respond to things. But I've been using this product in my practice now for, like I said, about 6 months, and I've used a lot of stuff in the past 20 years, I'll tell you. This is the first time I'm seeing things change so fast on patients, so quickly, so easily. The best part is so affordably. I mean, that honestly is the kicker is I don't have to have them taking 20 supplements anymore. I can get them down to 1 in many cases. And you know, I found my wife, we worked on her for years. She was starting to get this acne in her face. We're balancing her hormones, we're detoxing her body, we're cleaning her liver, we're doing allergy work. Nothing was helping her face. And when she started taking this product, Phytozon, all of a sudden now her face is completely cleared up. It is better. Now, in another patient, I got stories I can go on all day. I don't even have so much time.
Let's talk about a couple of the patients, and then, if you would, explain what's in the Phytozon, because you know people are leery of taking something if they have no idea what's in it.
Right.
And I assume that it's all natural.
Correct.
There's no chemicals or pesticides.
Correct.
And I know we only have 10 minutes left, but if you really, I mean, to understand the difference between a medicine, a pharmaceutical, and a supplement, a lot of people don't understand. They don't know. They don't have a clue.
Right. Well, I want to talk about that. That's a good point. When you're using a pharmaceutical company, you're trying to make a chemical change within the body. The problem is it's not fixing the problem. That's why most people, like when I deal with thyroid problems, their thyroid is off. Just because you put a chemical in the bloodstream doesn't make the thyroid work again. If it did, you'd be off the medication, right? But you're on it forever. So when you're taking a medication, there is a huge disconnect within your body's own innate or internal abilities to heal. That's being blocked because you're using a chemical in place of it. And so people don't truly get healthy on medications. In fact, studies show that the more medicines you're on, the shorter your lifespan is. I mean, ask any life insurance sales agent. They'll tell you that's a direct correlation. And they got the best stats. Supplements are designed, good supplements, are designed to help the body repair and regenerate tissues. That's a whole different mindset now, a whole different ballgame. One ballgame's just to change a chemical expression through symptomatic suppression, basically making the body just not feel the problem. I can take a whole bunch of morphine if my arm is, sticking out here, right? It doesn't make the problem better, it's just I don't feel it.
So, in other words, they're putting a Band-Aid over it rather than figuring out the root of the problem
Correct.
and solving the root.
Yeah, just a Band-Aid. I like to use an example of a check engine light in your car. Using a pharmaceutical medication is like putting a piece of black tape over your check engine light on your car. The problem's still there, it's still going to have issues, and the engine eventually is going to give up on you. Or we can figure out, why is that check engine light on? Is it low oil? Is it a timing issue? Is it a gas cap? Who knows what it is. It could be something simple or it can be major, but ultimately it's a lot better for that car if you fix it instead of ignore it. As human beings, we tend to ignore it way too much. And that's why, I hate to say it, in the United States, we're one of the unhealthiest countries. We have the highest mortality rate on the planet of almost all other countries. But we also prescribe the most medications. So that means basically people are not fixing the problems, they're chasing the symptoms. And that's where we got to use a good supplement. And this Phytozon is designed to help heal the body. It's designed to, there's actually quite a few things it helps with 9 different natural herbal different ingredients. Okay, these are all natural, they're all safe, they're all clean. And what they're designed to do is a bunch of stuff. They help repair your DNA. They help increase your telomeres, which is your time clock. They also help increase IGF-1, which is a growth hormone, basically, response. And what that does, I guess the easiest way to describe that is that's your fountain of youth hormone. Okay, that helps keep you younger. It helps repair tissues quicker. But in turn, ultimately, the bottom line is that also the ingredient combination helps reduce inflammation. So we're helping people, it sounds crazy, it's almost too good to be true kind of sounding, but it helps people slow down their aging clock, helps them reverse their clock, time clock if you will. It helps them reverse inflammation, it helps them heal, function, think. And I had a patient the other, a few weeks ago actually, and we were working on her we've been working with her for a few years. We made a lot of great changes, but the one thing I couldn't help her with was this itchiness she would get every night, okay? We helped her with a lot of other autoimmune issues, but the itchiness at night was not going away. And I just said, you know what, about 6 months ago we got her on Phytozon, and she told me not too long ago, a few weeks ago, that this is the first time she's not itching. It's the first time she's been able to sleep well. And the only change she made was using the Phytozon. So again, not everybody's the same. I don't want to say it's going to work the same on everybody, but ultimately everybody is capable of healing, and everybody needs something good and quality. And I've looked for a long time, and I've never seen anything that I would put my seal of approval on, if you will, that is so pure as this Phytozon product.
Well, that's excellent.
Yeah.
So what, if you had anything to say as far as advice to someone that is, trying to have a better quality of life, what would that advice be?
Well, the easiest thing to say is take Phytozon. It's kind of an easier tool. One thing I know, I'm realistic. A lot of patients don't like to do a lot of work, make a lot of changes. But I also want to be honest. Your lifestyle is what caused your health problems to begin with. If you don't start to accept that and understand that and figure out what to do about it, you honestly can't truly get healthy. It's like trying to find God but never leaving your dark bedroom in the closet or something, it's going to be more challenging, right? So what we've got to do is we've got to change lifestyle a little bit too. We got to eat cleaner and good quality, but we've got to take a good supplement. And the best one I can think of, honestly, is Phytozon. That's honestly probably the best thing I could recommend anybody. I don't want to call it a cheat, because I don't believe in cheats, but it's a good helper. It's a good helper to help you repair cells better, turn back the clock, and just kind of get better health.
Well, you've evaluated probably a few hundred products.
Probably thousands. More like thousands.
Of products.
Yeah.
And, of all the products you've looked at and seen, this seems to be one that really makes a difference.
This one's the easiest, the best, yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
And that's because of the combination of things that are in it, right?
Yeah, I won't get into techno. There's adaptogenic herbs and the combination, synergistic combination stuff. But bottom line is, they're all scientifically proven and patented to help increase our cellular healing. Whether it's inflammation or DNA, things like that. And that's what everybody needs. So any health issue you're dealing with, if you take this product, you're going to help reverse a lot of those health problems. Now, some people may take longer than others. Some people need to take more. If your health issues are really bad, I'd say take 2 capsules twice a day. If your health is pretty decent, not terrible, then 2 a day. You know, and that's just my general, you know, synopsis overall. I don't take it with a grain of salt, right?
How do people reach you?
Probably the best thing to do is if you email me, Dr. Dylan Foster at gmail.com. That's my personal email. Just email me personally. I'll send you an ebook, and then I'll also get you some information on the Phytozon so you can learn more about it. But the ebook will kind of give you more information about health, inflammation, reversing the clock, things like that. And it's just very informative, basic. I try to keep things simple and educational so you can ultimately get your health better.
So spell your email for us.
True, nobody knows how to spell my name ever.
Yeah.
So Dr. Dylan Foster, that's DR for doctor, DR, Dylan, D-Y-L-A-N, Foster, F-O-S-T-E-R, at Gmail. And just go ahead and email me. And like I said, I'll send you the free ebook and then some information on Phytozon, a little more detailed so you can do your due diligence, which everybody should always do with every supplement they buy. Just don't pick it off the store shelves and assume it's great for you. You got to do some research.
Okay. Now, you said that people from all over the world come to see you.
Yep.
Where are you based?
Well, I'm based in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
So I'm out of Phoenix, Arizona. Right now it's 120 degrees, so it's
All right.
pretty warm. I don't recommend anybody come in there if they don't have to right now.
Is there a website to find out about your practice and you?
Yeah, you can go to my practice if you want. My practice website, it's becomeallergyfree.com. Becomeallergyfree.com. That's pretty simple. And I can, you know, there's a lot of information there about inflammation and stuff too. But you know, my personal email, I can lead you wherever questions you might have and get you in the direction you need to get to whatever your health issues are to get them resolved.
Well, that's awesome. Well, you know, a matter of fact, I think they've pulled your website up.
Oh, look at there.
On the television.
Okay.
And you know, Dr. Foster is known and respected. You know, he's also a doctor of pastoral medicine, which, you know, we as Christians, we really need, okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's one thing that, you know, to treat people from a medical perspective, but when you bring God in the mix, yep, it makes a big difference. Amen. Because God is the healer.
God is the healer. Yep.
God is the healer. God designed your body to rebuild itself. And we just believe that God is in the midst of this. I want to thank you for coming all the way from Phoenix today. It's a long trip over here. But I believe that the information that you shared is invaluable. You know, the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. This is the reason that the show is called Wisdom and Knowledge. Because if you have more wisdom, you'll make more intelligent decisions. If you have the knowledge you'll need, you'll know how to make the right decisions. And so, you know, it's one thing for me to say it. And even though I'm a doctor as well, but it's another thing to have someone that's actually in the field, treating patients day after day, week after week, has been treating patients for 20 years, has seen some incredible changes in people's lives. There is no substitute for divine healing. I've seen people prayed for and cancer has gone away, but for most part, it doesn't happen because of the people's lack of faith.
Right.
And I shared this before, and it was a revelation that God gave me. And I'll share this with you before we go off the air. When Jesus said to me one day, and the Holy Spirit was talking to me, and I asked, why did you put the mud in the man's eyes? I couldn't figure it out. Why didn't you just say, see, and he would have seen? He said to me, because most people won't have the faith to believe, so I showed how I would use the things that I created in nature to heal. And I believe this, that for everything someone suffers with, God has created a solution. For hundreds of years, when a person got a cut, they used aloe vera.
Yeah.
Aloe vera is even in the Bible. God has always used natural means to treat, not pharmaceutical drugs. Thank you for watching today. Thank you, Dr. Foster, for being on. I look forward to having you on the show again.
Thank you.
Please, contact him and get your free ebook and become a little more knowledgeable. Until next week or next month, We'll see you again on Wisdom and Knowledge. I'm your host, Dr. Terry Warren, and I'm here with Dr. Dylan Foster. Thank you, and you have a blessed day.